Thoroughly.
One more minute.
I have a 9 o'clock Zoom meeting, so I don't know if I'm out of here.
9 p.m.
Yes.
I'm going to call this meeting to order, May 4th, 2023, Board of Aldermen meeting. If you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hoffman.
Here.
Alderman Schuman. Here. Alderman Alderman Rucker.
Here.
Alderman Ross.
Here.
Alderman Rose. Here. Alderman Osteen.
Here.
Mayor Harmon.
Here. All right, very good. All right, tonight we have 4 proclamations. And first is May 1st through the 6th for the Municipal Clerk's Week. The office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of our local government, exists throughout the world, and the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants. And the office of the municipal clerk provides professional link between the citizens and local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels. And the office of the municipal clerk has pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And the office of municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And the office of the municipal clerk continually strive to improve the administration of the office of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education, programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organizations. It is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of municipal clerk. And now, therefore, I, Michael Harmison, Mayor of Osage Beach, Missouri, do recognize the week of May 1st through May 6, 2023 as Municipal Clerks Week. And in witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Osage Beach to be affixed this 4th day of May, 2023. And on a personal note, I really appreciate Tara Barrett and what she has done for the city, and over the course of the last year, she's helped me out a ton and has become a close friend of mine, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have, this is May 7th through the 13th. It's National Travel and Tourism Week. In 1983, the U.S. Congress established National Travel and Tourism Week to acknowledge the tourism industry importance to the economy and leisure travel, which accounts for more than 3/4 of all trips taken in the United States, spurs countless benefits to travelers, health and wellness, creativity, cultural awareness, education, happiness, productivity, and relationships. And the Lake of the Ozark was voted the best recreational lake in the nation, proving that the area contributes in a big way to the tourism industry in Missouri, and welcoming visitors from near and far always has been and always will be the Enduro's ethos of the travel industry, the Lake of the Ozarks. Therefore, I, Michael Harmison, do hereby proclaim May 7th through the 13th, 2023 as National Travel and Tourism Week in Osage Beach, and urge citizens to join me in this special observance with appropriate events and commemorations. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand, and the cause of the seal of the City of Osage Beach be affixed this 4th day of May, 2023. Next, we have Local Government Week, May 7th through the 13th. The local government in Missouri makes important decisions that affect the lives of all Missourians, and the local government are the level of the government closest to the people, and local governments include Board of Aldermen, City Council, county commissions, school boards, among others, and local governments are the ultimate expression of grassroots democracy, and local governments play an essential role in the quality of life in Missouri communities. I, Michael Harmison, do hereby proclaim May 7th through the 13th, 2023, Local Government Week in Osage Beach, and urge all Missourians to join me in recognizing local governments as they serve their communities. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand in the cause of the seal of Osage Beach to be affixed this 4th day of May, 2023. And same goes for the Board of Aldermen donating your time, so thank you very much. The last one is the Peace Officers Memorial which is May 15th, 2023, and the National Police Week, May 14th through the 20th, 2023. The Congress and President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls is National Police Week. The members of the Osage Beach Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of Osage Beach, and it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, sacrifices of the law enforcement agency, and the members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And the men and women in the Osage Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service. I, Michael Harmison, call upon all citizens and all patriotic civic and educational organizations to observe the week of May 14th through May 20th as National Police Week in Osage Beach, and publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and communities across the nation. I further call upon all citizens of Osage Beach to observe May 15, 2023 as Police Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Osage Beach to affix this 4th day of May 2023. And again, Chief Davis, from the last year I've been here, the police department has been wonderful, and I appreciate your leadership. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to move on to citizens' communications. This is the time set aside on the agenda for citizens and visitors to address the mayor and board on any topic that is not a public hearing. For those here in person, speakers will be restricted to 3 minutes unless otherwise permitted. Minutes may not be donated or transferred from one speaker to another. Visitors attending via online will be in listen-only mode. Any questions or comments for the mayor and board may be sent to the city clerk at tberreth@osagebeach.org no later than 10 a.m. on the board meeting day, the first and third Thursday of each month. Submitted questions and comments may be read during the citizens' communications section of the agenda. The Board of Aldermen will not take any action on any item not listed on the agenda, nor will it respond to questions, although staff may be directed to respond at a later time. The Mayor and Board of Aldermen welcome and value input and feedback from the public. Is there anyone here in person who would like to address the board? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Has the board had a chance to review the minutes and the bills list? Any comments and questions? Alderman Rucker.
2 comments. First of all, Tara, the corrections I gave you are included?
Yes.
Okay. Second of all, on the bills, I have a concern. I don't know, Mike, if you're the one to answer this, but according to the report that Carrie gives us on projects, the Industrial Road Improvement Project is not completed. We've got some $73,000 still to pay on that. So that project's not completed, correct?
I believe we are waiting for some signage to be put up by the contractor that is back ordered. So their contract is basically done, sir, but just kind of on hold until we get the final couple pieces taken care of. But we expect that signage to come in within the next 30 days and have that completed. I didn't think it was as much as 73,000 left, but it might be. I don't have that information in front of me.
Well, where I'm going with that is the fact that if that project is not completed, why are we paying Cochrane the final payment on their engineering services for that road? Because included in their engineering services is site survey and site approval. Is that not part of their construction, to oversee the construction and make sure everything's done correctly?
Yeah, I mean, we pay them for construction inspection as it happens, yes, sir.
So why is that contract completed, but yet the construction of that industrial drive is not completed? Shouldn't Cochrane have a responsibility to go over and make sure everything's done with industrial drive when it's done, since it's not done? Because we are tonight approving a bill for $7,200, which is the completion of the Cochrane engineering services for industrial drive. That's my concern.
I'm happy to look into it, but I mean, Cochrane obviously will be doing any final inspections on that, but I don't know the answer to your question right now, sir.
Okay. Well, I guess since it's Cochran and we have other ways, I would be willing to move forward, but I just concerned that Cochran is, that bill's being paid and we're not done with the construction side of it.
I will definitely look into it and get back with you next week, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate it. That's all I have.
All right, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Ross, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion agenda carries. All right. Thank you for this reading tonight, Alderman Rucker. I've practiced a little bit today, my Roman numerals. So we'll start with Bill 23-26, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a 24-year agreement with the Missouri Department of Conservation to assist the city with the management and maintenance of City Park Pond. Eric Gregory could not be with us, but if we do have any questions or comments, Mike Welty said he would be happy to help. Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So move.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
All right, second reading carries. Next, we'll move on to 23-28, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a new master service agreement with LOR Engineer LLC, doing business as Cochran. This is the second reading. Mike Welty, please.
I have nothing further to add unless there's any questions.
Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
Motion approved.
Alderman Ross, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Schuman, roll call, please.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
All right, second reading carries. Bill 23-31, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 115 Employees and Officers and Chapter 200 Police Department, Article 1 in general sections, 115.010 definitions, 115.060 salaries, 115.120 removal of officer, Article 1 City Administrator, Section 115.160, appointment, Article 2, City Clerk, Section 115.200. Appointment, Article 5, City Treasurer, Section 115.260. Appointment, Article 6, City Attorney, Sections 115.300. Appointment, 115.330. Duties, Section 7, City Prosecutor, Section 115.350. Appointment, Article 8, Public Works Operation Manager, Section 115.390, appointment. Article 9, Evaluation of certain appointed officials, Section 115.410, Evaluation of certain appointed officials. Article 2, Police Chief, Section 200.030, appointment. Section 200.4040, Powers and Duties of Police Chief of the City Code for various purposes as set forth. This is the second reading. Alderman Rucker, do you have anything else to say?
Nope, I've received no comments, but you did so well, maybe we ought to have a third reading.
That's okay.
I recorded that one. All right, do we have a motion to approve second reading?
So move.
Well, I did have one comment,
Yeah, okay.
and it's just kind of offhand. Since a lot of these changes were changing title from chief of police to police chief, is there a reason why we don't stick with the chief of police as the title?
On that comment, I will refer that to the attorney because that was his change.
Well, I actually give you.
All right, I'm sorry, was it?
The,
I'm sorry, I thought it was yours, but I guess it's Tina's. It wasn't mine.
This ordinance was the one that wasn't in line with our pay plan, it wasn't in line with our job description. We're police chief, and this consistently puts it with everything else in the city. So this section was easier to change than, I know
was
it's
just curious on the titling.
semantics, but,
Yeah.
Why?
yeah.
Although
This was-
I did notice not consistent with the plaque on Chief's desk this morning. So we're gonna have to get him a
We
new
can
plaque.
change a plaque.
I'll have to look at that. It says Todd Davis, Chief of Police.
That's all I had, just,
All
once
right.
again, titling question.
All right, I believe Alderman Rose had a motion, didn't you?
Yes, she did, and I'll second.
A second, Alderman Osteen. Roll call, please.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Schuman.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Thank you. All right, Bill 23-32, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, creating new sections in Chapter 115, Employees and Officers, Article 10, City Planner, and Article 11, Building Official of the City Code for various purposes as set forth. Second reading. Again, Alderman Rucker.
No other comments?
Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So moved.
Alderman Schuman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Schuman.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Bill 23-33, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 500 Building Codes and Building Regulations, Section 500.020 of the 2018 International Building Code Amendments, subsection 103.2, Section 500.27. 2018 International Existing Building Code Amendments, Section 103.2, Section 500.260, purposes of the city code for various purposes as set forth. Second reading, Alderman Rucker.
No other comments?
Any other comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
Motion.
Alderman Ross, do I have a second?
Sure.
Alderman Osteen. Roll call, please.
Alderman Schuman.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
All right, second reading carries. All right, next we have Bill 23-34, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 400, Planning and Development, Section 400.030, Officers, Meetings, Records, Section 400.045, Zoning Officer, Section 405.710, Zoning Administrator of the City Code for various purposes as set forth. Second reading, Alderman Rucker.
No further, excuse me, no further comment?
All right, comments or questions from the board?
I did have a comment.
Yes, sir.
Kevin, going back to the changes in Section C, well, actually, Section 1C, we changed the verbiage from the Planning Commission shall appoint to the Planning Commission shall advise the mayor of employees and staff necessary for its work, et cetera. Did we need to have something in here that basically states how they then are actually appointed or selected for that board? Because we changed it from being basically appointed to just being advised of. Requests.
That's actually drawn out of a state statute. It's not a model of clarity, I'll say, but the state statute requires that the planning commission have some level of direction, and I don't remember the exact language. I could pull it up and show you, but it doesn't say that the planning commission must appoint the city planner, but it does say that, I believe it says something to the effect that they must provide for the staffing of the planning department. And so Alderman Rucker and I, when we were going through that, we felt that it was still an appointed official that the mayor would appoint, but we felt that to comply with the statute that we would have the planning commission sort of make that was our kind of compromise to accommodate that statute.
But once again, we removed the verbiage from basically stating how individuals are appointed to the commission to basically stating they're just being advised. They're just advising the mayor, but there still is no verbiage in here saying how they then are in actuality appointed.
Wait a second, hold on. Are you talking about, C?
Section 1C,
So C is let me make sure I'm on.
planning commission shall appoint, which we negated, to just
You're talking about the
advise.
staff that they ask for, okay? So what the attorney was talking about was the planning commissioner, okay? As far as the staff goes, it's they advise the mayor that they would like to have staff, okay? And then from there, it's up to the mayor to move forward. I didn't feel like we needed to really get down into saying, okay, who hires them, who fires them? I mean, they don't, but they have to have some vehicle to say, hey, we need some staff. And so we felt that that was the appropriate way for them to go to the mayor and say, whatever that staff may be.
And it's different because what we're talking about now is actually section 405, which is just land use code, as opposed to where it addresses how I'm appointed, which is up in staffing, what you
Okay.
or what you approved previously.
Okay.
And how I'm appointed. So this, what you're looking at here kind of basically mimics what the state statute says, which is the planning commission shall appoint, staff that as needed to their, for their commission. But then that becomes a situation of basically the board has to agree because you all need budget for the department.
Okay, that makes sense.
Basically, state law says what we all know, which is that Carrie is special. So,
Okay.
So my mama tells me.
All right,
all I
any other comments, or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, roll call, please.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Schuman.
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Now on to new business. Bill 23-35, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Don Schneider's excavating company, for Osage Beach City Hall improvements for an amount not to exceed $385,589. This is the first reading. Building official Ron White, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of the board. This project consists of 4 line items within our budget. The total of those 4 items was budgeted $379,000. The low bid did come in at $375,589, but I have requested an additional $10,000 for a force account should we run into any issues during construction. That will put this item $6,589 over budget, but there's room within our capital improvement, or our building improvement budget to make up that difference. I do recommend approval.
Very good. Comments or questions from the board? Alderman Rucker.
Just a clarity, the total amount is requested $385,589. Because the last statement on the blue sheet's a little misleading. It says I'm requesting a not to exceed amount of $385,000 for the base bid and an additional $10,000. So it should have been $375 and an additional 10. You've stated all the way through it's 385 is the total you're requesting.
Yes, I should have put a comma in there, 385,589 comma for the base bid and additional 10,000. Sorry about that.
It's not additional 10,000 to the
The
385.
base bid and the additional 10,000.
Okay,
So
totally.
sorry about that. Yeah, that is confusing. I see that.
Okay, the ordinance is correct, everything there. I was 99% sure, so that's all I have.
Alderman Ross.
I'm not sure I understand why we need the 10,000 in the force account. What's that about?
That was a recommendation of staff, just in case we run into something that we didn't see from above ground.
That's just
something
called
that
a change order, isn't it?
Yeah, we could do change orders too. This is something that's pretty standard in our contracts. Mike, I don't know if you want to jump in and help me out.
Can
here,
I have
but,
it make a comment? So Ron's right. If you notice on our contracts, a lot of times you'll have a force account that's part of the line item. You guys approving the board gives the city administrative authority to put forth that contract. So as long as the not to exceed never exists, contract change orders that are less than or up to that amount can be handled internally. Anything above that, a contract amendment or change order that would be above your not to exceed, then that would be required to come back to the board. So he is correct, it is a common practice, or you do see them.
So make sure I understand, we're contracting for 385 with them?
You're accepting the bid at the 375 plus the
370.
10,000 line item that says force account
That's
should
from
be
a budget
needed.
standpoint, but not
And-
from a contract standpoint.
Right, and so budget, then, yes, and then that's why you're asking not to exceed 385. So we're accepting their base bid, but we're adding a 10,000 force account, asking for a not to exceed 385. So anything up to that 385 for contract changes can be handled internally.
Okay. I guess we can talk about this at a different time. I think the whole premise of expecting change orders is I just don't agree with, but I'll be quiet at this point and bring that up at another day.
All right, any other comments or questions?
I'd like a little clarification.
Alderman Hoffman.
So basically, that's like a slush fund. It's 10,000 there in case you've got problems. If no problems occur, they get their original contract bid of 375, correct?
Or yeah, that is correct. So what this does, if there is something that comes up, I don't know what, we find an old septic tank that was here 50 years ago. rather than having to stop everything, come back for your all's approval, this allows Gina to make that, to say, yeah, okay, it's under this threshold, we're gonna stay under the not to exceed amount. It saves us time, keeps us moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Then can I?
Alderman Ross, yes.
I'm sorry. Why would that stop the project? I don't understand that, if it's within your purchasing authority anyway.
So, 2 layers. I have a purchasing authority for budgeted projects for contractor X. If we pay a vendor, contractor X, any more than $25,000, and you guys have only approved a not to exceed of $375, then just because that additional $10,000 is under my 25, it's still tied to a project that's over $25,000, and therefore it's not budgeted as so. So that's how our purchasing code is laid out. So that's why it's important that the staff asks for a not to exceed, and then I've got room under that, up to that point.
All right, thanks.
All right. Anything else from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading? Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Alderman Osteen, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading carries. Next, we have Bill 23-36, an ordinance to the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign an on-call engineer service agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, CMT. This is the first and second reading. Assistant City Administrator Mike Welty, please.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. This contract and the next one are the 2 remaining on-call contracts that we started talking about at the last meeting. We hired 4 total engineers to kind of diversify some of our engineering, and this one and the next one are 3 and 4. So CMT is a firm that currently handles all of the city's airport engineering. We've been working with them for more than 10 years now, but it's a very large firm and they have a lot of other specialties. And so because of our relationship with them, they're one of the ones that we also earmarked to kind of set up a contract with for on-call services. This particular engineer's experience with water and sewer is just as good as some of the other ones that we have out there, and that's probably what we're going to be having them do. I do recommend approval.
All right. Thank you. Comments or questions from the board?
I have one comment, and it's just to say that I'm pleased to see that these additional contracts are using our city-issued contract format. Cool.
Very good.
That's all, thank you.
All right. All right, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, second. Alderman Ross. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading carries. Same bill, 23-36, an ordinance of City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a on-call engineer service agreement with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, CMT. This is the second reading. Any other comments or questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So move.
Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second? Alderman Schuman, roll call, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
All right, second reading carries. Next, we have Bill 23-37, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a on-call engineer service agreement with Bartlett and West Incorporated. This is the first of 2 readings. Mike Welty.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. One more comment on these contracts. We did do first and second reading. I really appreciate you guys' grace with that. Obviously, we've had some negotiations with these companies, and that took a little longer than we wanted to, and we really want to get them started on some of this work. So doing the first and second reading allows me to get them going on getting these task orders for the projects that they're going to be doing going quicker, so we appreciate that. Bartlett and West, you may remember, is the engineering firm that helped us with the early phases of the Mace Road design and did a little bit of construction inspection with us. That's one of the things that we really like about this company is their ability to do some of the plan review and construction inspection. And that's one of the main reasons why we are looking to add them to our group of engineers that we use. I do recommend approval.
All right, thank you very much.
If I can briefly just add also, this is another one, a rather large one that sent us their very, very long contract. And we did, throughout this process, Mike and I did work through developing our paper, as it were. And much to our satisfaction, we sent them ours and they sent back what, 4 or 5 edits, very minor, all agreeable. And so that's set that precedent pretty well for us going forward.
Very good.
Very good.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Alderman Ross.
For our strategic planning, is there any chance that we could keep track of, either for last year or so far through this year, the number of billable hours that we're using from engineering? And have that for our planning so we can have a projection and understand how many hours we're actually paying for?
Yeah, Mike, and probably a good time to start this at the beginning because we recreated that with help of Cochran for 2021 and 2022. So we'll just continue that for 23.
Good, it'd be helpful to start thinking about how large the engineering group in-house should be. Thanks. That's all I have.
All right. Any other comments? Alderman Hoffman.
Alderman Ross, are you kind of leading that up to hiring an internal city engineer? Was that the thought process there?
Not only a single engineer, but probably whether or not we need a larger engineering staff besides one person.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Do I have a motion to approve first reading? Alderman Ross. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading passes, same bill. Second reading.
That's the second reading.
Oh, was?
No.
That was first and second.
This is the first and
Just the first.
Oh, sorry, my fault. Gotcha.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Ahead of time.
Did you say it was your fault?
Isn't it City Clerk Week or something?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's what I didn't want to bring that up, but good for you.
New guy.
All right.
Last year.
All right, Bill 23-37, ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a on-call engineer service agreement with Bartlett and West. This is the second reading. Any other comments or questions?
Did you hear that?
I
Second.
did hear it.
All right, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So moved.
Alderman, ooh, that was close. Alderman Schuman?
Either way, it doesn't matter.
I said Alderman Schuman, second Alderman Morose. All those, I'm sorry, roll call, please.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
All right. Moving on, 23-38, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, establishing a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest of certain municipal officials. Who wants this one?
This is an ordinance that's actually based on a form from the Missouri Ethics Commission, my good friends. We are required to pass this every 2 years in order to stay in their good graces. This requires, we've had this ordinance on the actual ordinance on the books for I don't know how long, but we have to repass it every 2 years in order to keep them happy. Nope.
Every one year.
Every year.
The only reason we do it every year is because, I don't know if we're required by them, but we may have a new alderman every year, so that also reiterates to the new alderman, hey.
We're required to do it every year by September 30, I believe, so. September 15th.
All right, any other comments or questions from the board?
It's the first reading, by the way.
Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve first reading?
Move to approve.
Alderman Rucker, second Alderman Ross. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading carries. Next, we have a motion to approve the purchase of an ABS Sulzer Model XFP 100J CHI 368 PE 630-4 submersible pump from a municipal, what is that?
Municipal?
Is that a word? MUNICIAL.
It's supposed to be municipal.
Municipal
letter missing
Equipment
out of there.
Incorporated for $50,155.51 plus freight. Public Works Operations Manager Kevin Crooks, please.
Yes, sir. This straightforward purchase of an 84 horsepower submersible pump at lift station 29.5. That is a duplex station, which is down one pump. I've opted for the quick ship option, which is an additional $5,500 for a 4 to 6 week delivery. A standard delivery is 16 to 18 weeks, and should that pump fail through any time actually, but especially during the summer season, that would that would be suboptimal. So that's pretty much it. Unless you have any questions, I recommend approval.
All right, comments or questions from the board? Here. Alderman Osteen.
Kevin, the request only goes over the price for the equipment itself and the freight option. Are we installing this ourselves because there's no additional fees for the servicing,
Correct. In the
installation,
quote-
et cetera?
Yes, sir. In the quote, it references I think it's a
$1,500
or
per day?
$1,700 ad. We do that in-house ourselves.
Okay, just wanted to clarify since
Yep.
that was included in the quote but not under request.
Alderman Ross.
So Kevin, I'm trying to understand, this is one of the larger pumps we have, right? So the 15% is what bothers me, for the quick ship. Is there any,
Yep.
do we know how old the other pump is? Is there any value in having an extra one of these? By chance, do we have another pump like this in another station that it would be handy for? And it's a lot of money to park on the shelf, but that's a lot of money to get it here 6 to 10 weeks quicker.
No, I absolutely agree, and that's something within the budget I want to work on. I want spares like this. We can't afford them right now, to be honest. When a pump comes in, I will have them evaluated to see if I can cheat it and see if I can get away with, for this pump, for instance, this $50,000. Oftentimes a rebuild will be $35,000, $38,000, $40,000, and so I'm upside down. So I just sent one on today, a 17 horse, to see if I can I not rewind this? Can I get it back I'm with you, and I absolutely agree, and it's something I want to do. I want spares, and that's where we should be. At least one or two of each size, but it comes down to economics right now, and so.
That's fine. I just think it's something we should consider, especially when we
Absolutely.
have one of these larger ones that, we've got 4 pumps in there, that's one thing, okay? But
Right.
when you've only got 2, and it's as large, this sounds like it's one of the larger 2-pump wells we have, is that
It is.
right? Okay, just something to consider, that's all I have, thanks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the quick ship. They know they got us, and I'd like to get around it eventually, so I agree.
All right, any other comments or questions?
I do have a question. I'm just wondering, is the volume of tourism that's about to happen here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that's going to go on for 4 more months, is it worth the quick ship because of that?
It's not just that. So if this station failed, what we would have to do is we would still need the pump. So there's no pump I can rent. So what it would mean is basically the staff has to manually pump this station around the clock, and we've done that a number of times this year already. But it would be exponentially more expensive to pump manually for 4 weeks than it would be to purchase this pump. We just did this recently in Tantera, and it was $8,000 for 48 hours. So because it has to be manually taken in with a truck and then transferred, and it takes 2 trucks to do that. So it's not just the summer season is definitely compounds that, but even during the week, during the normal year, even if it's a slow time, it would really be a bind either way.
Good, thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Osteen, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, last item on new business is a motion to accept petition for placement of a new streetlight at the corner of College and Bradford Drive. Mike Welty, please.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. And I want to thank Gina and the rest of the management team. This is my first streetlight petition, so I appreciate all the help I got on this one. So we did receive a streetlight petition in accordance with the ordinance in late February for the installation of a new streetlight on the corner of Columbia and Bradford, which, just for context, I believe that's right behind Hy-Vee. So I've attached the ordinance 510-180 and 510-200, just for clarification, just so the board can see exactly what their authority is there. Across the street and just a few houses down from the location of this, there used to be a business, and that business had not like a street light, but like a parking lot light in their parking lot. And for whatever reason, I don't know the details, that business is no longer there, and neither is the light. And so that basically created the gap with no street light there. If you look through the notes that I made there, all of our management team had answered all the questions that are required through the street light petition requirements there. So we feel like this one meets all the requirements. Unfortunately, Ameren does not have the proper infrastructure in the area to accommodate the light right now. And I've got Kevin getting us on a waiting list there to try and get that going. So I don't really know any costs. We've been told it's going to be expensive because additional infrastructure needs to be put there. So I don't really have a cost or a time frame on when this could be installed, but that's really not the meat of why we're here. We're just here to basically get approval from you guys to begin that process. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I do recommend approval.
Comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So motion.
Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second? Second. Alderman Ross, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next, we'll move on to staff communications. Department updates. All right, City Administrator Gina Woods, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of the board. I really just have a couple quick things on the department list. Those few that are beside my name, I don't really have any other updates, except Mike graciously reminded everyone I had an email I hadn't answered on the IT service. So I'm going to summarize that to you all in an email, and then if further discussion or whatever needs to take place, you can let me know there. Should have that out to you this week. Been at my city manager, county manager association, which always is held here at the lake, which is kind of nice. And we had a lot of new city managers around Missouri that come to the lake, and they're always very gracious in their comments and thank yous of Lake of the Ozarks. And believe me, they're all paying attention because I got lots of questions over the last day and a half about all the great news and projects. So it was nice to be able to talk about those. But most importantly, there was a couple sessions today, and I normally don't give you guys an update when I go to conferences, but the topics are very fitting when it comes to local government and the statistics and what we're seeing in employment and the differences between the private industry coming back as far as capacity and jobs, and the difference between government, not just local and state. So I thought that would be very interesting because I know those are topics. Tomorrow we'll be talking all about marijuana, which will be fun, and then use tax and some other legislative things. So I do want to pass on some of that information, which I don't normally do, but this time it's very fitting that you guys would be interested in. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Assistant City Administrator Mike Welty.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. I obviously joined Gina at that conference. I echo everything she said. It's been a great conference. Really appreciate the opportunity to go to the conference. As far as my project items, I am diligently working on all of them, but I have no updates to give the board on any of them. Happy to answer any questions you may have, though. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. City Clerk, Tara Barrett.
Let's see. Just been working hard doing all of the business licenses and getting the liquor licenses in. Those will be on your next agenda for approval. Brenda leaves tomorrow, and Gina's graciously let me have Jan, and she's doing a great job. And the job duty or the
Description.
Yep, that's what I'm looking for. Is out, and we have a couple of applicants that we're looking at. Carrie Bell and I will get together on Monday and go over those and probably start the interview process sometime next week. I will be gone for the next meeting, but Pam will be sitting in for me. I'm going to the International Clerks Conference in Minnesota. So that will be fun and exciting. I'll be there all week long and be back on the 22nd. So that's all I have. And I don't have anything on the list to update you on.
Very good.
Yay.
All right, City Treasurer Carrie Bell.
Yes, Mayor. I'm at a different angle this evening.
I just have a quick kind of share with you. So, the city received some unexpected funds this week, and from Charter Communications for $18,559. And back in July of 2010, the city of Winchester filed a class action suit of which the city of Osage Beach was named, along with all the other cities in the state of Missouri. The collector of Winchester versus Charter Communications, because Charter had claimed that the technology to deliver telephone service was through the internet and should not meet the city ordinances for our franchise and licensing fees. So that's been going on for over 10 years, and recently, Judge Michael Jameson ruled in favor of the class action for the cities, and that's why the city received these funds this week. And this also releases some funds that the city has had in a paid under protest bucket. So to date, after this issue's resolved, we should have no paid under protest funds. So just thought I'd share that with you.
Very good. Nice.
Yeah, very good. All right, City Attorney Cole Bradbury.
I've been furiously working on some ordinances. I sent Tara several today on some really mild topics like marijuana and public nudity. So we're gonna have a fun meeting next time. And we continue to work with the developers' attorneys on the Lakeport Oasis project and hope to have some more updates for you on that shortly.
Yeah. Chief Davis.
Most people have heard we had that fatal crash on Highway 54 last week. The officers did a great job working that, along with the other agencies that we had, Lake Ozark Fire, Miller County Ambulance, Lake Ozark Ambulance, or Lake Ozark Fire Ambulance. Everybody worked together. It took us a little while to get cleaned up. We had the highway shut down for about 2.5 hours. MoDOT even came out to the scene with us that night. On another note, our new ambulance, we had to have it towed to Jeff City last Saturday night. It got out on the scene of a call and they put it in park and it shut off and wouldn't restart. We did get it back today and it was a fuse. They let it run for 3 different days and can't get it to repeat the thing. But just in case anybody heard that, I thought I'd bring you up to date on that. Officer Wright, Officer Christensen, and Officer Phillips all attended advanced roadside impaired driving enforcement training last week and successfully completed it. Myself, Lieutenant O'Day, and Lieutenant Taylor were at the Missouri Police Chiefs Conference this week, and we are getting some interest in hiring. We've got just this week 2 individuals that are interested in the police officer recruit positions, and 1 for communications. And that one came from when I went up 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now and did a mock interviews with the LCTC criminal investigations class at Campton. So she graduates on the 18th and is interested in ultimately becoming a police officer, but she's got to wait till she's old enough, but interested in communication. So we're hopefully moving forward in some of those positions.
Good deal.
Very good. All right, building official Ron White.
Yes, thank you. A couple of updates. One, we've completed the wallpaper removal and repainting project for the upper level City Hall restrooms. And then the only other notable right now, other than Carrie and I are staying pretty busy with plan reviews, last year, you guys may remember we had an issue with water heater permits, and during that time it was requested that I provide an update at the first meeting in May on how that's going. Since tiny letters. Since March of 2022, we have issued 41 permits, 19 being for HVAC replacements, 22 for water heater replacements. You know, we see a lot of the same people pulling these permits, obviously the bigger companies around here. In the beginning, we did find violations, and we had to work through those with the contractors, make sure everybody knew what the code said. The big ones were the bonding jumpers between copper lines for proper grounding and bonding, using drain pans where necessary underneath water heaters, and then using the PEX piping for temperature and pressure relief valve discharge, having that properly installed and sized. We do see value in these inspections, but just to give you an update that it's all going well. Typically, somebody comes in, they say their water heater's out, they'll provide us the completed application, or the contractor will. We will turn that around the same day, and oftentimes provide the inspection that same day. We make sure to adjust our schedules so that we can accommodate that and make nobody wait any longer than they have to. So that's all I have.
All right, very good. Alderman Ross.
So Ron, I'm trying to remember, did we waive the normal permit fee on hot water heaters for the first year?
Well,
permanently?
completely. Yeah, permanently.
It was permanently, it wasn't just for 1 year? Okay.
It was just to be reviewed after that
Okay,
amount of time.
Very good.
Thank you.
I could tell you, I guess, I'm sorry, the total valuation of those installations, $189,000. So we're looking at $1,600 in permit fees that would have otherwise been collected, but.
All right, thank you. All right, Human Resource, Michael Ray.
Mayor, members of the board. Update on loggers, their personnel data sheet has been sent off to them for review for the actuaries. We should hear something back within 4 or 6 weeks, barring any additional information that they may request in that time frame. For our employee survey, we're narrowing down the questions, started at 57, and we're trying to get right around 30 questions for the employees. We'd like to get that out next week. I have no update on the 360 feedback. The engineer position has been posted, and we have also got the accounts receivable position posted for the city clerk. And we also have a Park Tech 2 that is starting next week. That's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Economic Development, Mitch Moon.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the board. I'd like to thank the board for sending me to the Heartland Economic Development Conference that occurred in late April in Blue Springs, Missouri. That's really a premier conference for municipal economic developers. It's a class of 95 individuals that get to go to this conference every year, so it is very space limited. That being said, we connect and network with other economic developers from Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, South Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. I completed my course there successfully, which, long story short there, basically leads me one step closer to attaining the official Missouri Certified Economic Developer. So that process is moving. To the state of Missouri, though, it does take multi-years to complete that. So, you know, we're starting it this year, and hopefully in the next couple of years, it can be completely finished successfully. The Food Truck Festival was last weekend. Eric and I had a great time at that event. We estimate we had 7,500 attendees come to the event. So very successful. When speaking with the Food Truck Coalition on their side of life, they were very, very pleased with the event. And overall, we're already having discussions. Jake, Eric, Mike, and I have already had discussions how we make the September event bigger and better. And then lastly, Office of Economic Development is working with Lamar to obtain 25 billboards to promote our barbecue competition that comes on October 14th, the Dragon Smoke. These billboards, all 25 of them, will be placed throughout mid-Missouri. The goal of this is to attract a new demographic of visitor to our lake area. And the best part about this is the city is not spending a dime for these billboards. We have obtained funding from the TCLA because they have a new event fund for marketing purposes, for bringing new events to the lake. So that's how that's being funded. So big kudos to TCLA and Legina and her team for getting us over the line there. And big kudos to Rich Martin at Lamar and helping us get this contract going and designing of those billboards. And that's all I have.
October 14th, correct?
October 14th,
Yeah,
yes.
very good.
The second weekend in October.
Very good. All right. Yes, sir.
What were the projections for the food truck? Did we exceed them? I would
Yes.
assume.
So
'Cause I
we-
drove through and it was packed.
We estimated, and this estimate comes from the Food Truckers Coalition, they gave us this number. We were thinking of maybe we're gonna hit 5,000 for the whole weekend. At 3:30 on Saturday was when I checked the counter last, and we were at 4,000. So, I mean, it was an outstanding weekend, and really a lot of different food options too. So if you're not a burger person, if you're not a burrito person, there was catfish, there was a little bit of Chinese flair, there was all sorts of ice cream options. I loved it, and I'm really excited.
How many vendors were there total?
Vendors, I think we were around the 30 number, but that number includes food trucks and those tent vendors that you saw.
How many food trucks?
I'd have to go back and count on my spreadsheet, but I can get that number for you.
I'm just curious because I've just talked around town to people, and everyone loved it, but it was an hour to get food, it was an hour to order, it was an hour to. I'm just wondering, moving forward, we need to think now, how do we expedite that experience to make it a little bit better for actually getting your food?
Our diagram shows 18 food trucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say
18 food trucks, okay.
Justin, if I might add, I know that I was snooping on their Facebook, the coalition's Facebook, and they did apologize to the public that even the food truck vendors were overwhelmed and didn't bring enough inventory, so they will plan better next time.
Yeah, I don't think people were upset. I think that everyone was shocked it was that busy.
No, even the food trucks themselves were not expecting that many. And
They ran out of food, so that's good.
So that's a good problem to have.
I do know one of the food trucks, one of my friends was actually shopping at one of the grocery stores on Saturday about 3 o'clock, and it was their third run that day to pick up food. So they were not, weren't expecting it. It was
They apologized.
very
I mean,
good.
they had made that comment.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a good problem for them to have.
And there weren't any safety or nothing? No? That's awesome.
Yeah, very good.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right, Public Works, Kevin Crooks.
2 updates. I have an update on the Swiss Village treatment plan. Zach Wilbur, the water department foreman, and I met with the engineers at SEH and did a preliminary run through. They looked at the sites, did some rough siting. We looked at water quality, did some water testing. They understand why we're looking at treatment. They also eliminated the possibility of us sequestering. Sequestering is basically adding polyphosphates to sequester the iron and manganese. And they looked at our system and they think we're heading down the right path. They thought sequestering was an option, they would have helped us out with that, but we're all in agreement. They said the site can hold the treatment facility that's we're still proposing. There's going to be a lot of back and forth and a lot of more information sharing before they can get to the point where they can get us a quote for the feasibility plan, but that's underway. The second one I have is Sands. The Sands bid was opened. We had a single bid. The engineering estimate was $715,000 roughly. The single bid was $500,000 over budget. So I'm recommending that we kick this down the road. This bid didn't happen when we wanted it to. Mike Welty can speak to that because there was a long drawn-out process in trying to obtain the necessary easements for this to happen. And that really delayed it to the point we're at now, where we didn't want to be. And I think that added a lot of cost. It added some risk because of the increased flow that we're seeing already. So I'm recommending that we deny that bid and we rebid for late fall, early spring. And we're going to do our best to drum up some more interest in this from local contractors so we don't have a single bid. I think the two things that stick out about delaying the project is, one, the resiliency of the temporary bypass. It is resilient. Inspected again today. It's safe. I think it could last a number of years. That's not optimal. And there's no concerns there as far as the bypass goes. I think the primary one that comes to everyone's mind is the smell. So we're going to add some additional odor control capacity that we have. It's actually a unused carbon scrubber that we used to use back in the day. I'm putting new carbon in it. and I think it'll help a lot. It's really at minimum investment on our part, maybe $1,000. So I'm pretty confident we can knock that down, and the smell is occurring because of the bypass, there's no question. I think I can mitigate that in the meantime and then get a bid that's not as exorbitantly high as the one we have. So that is the plan. And that's all I have unless there's any questions.
I have a question, and I hear what you're saying, and I hear you're saying that you can take care of the smell, but that's one thing that I continue to get asked on. I mean, is that something that could happen soon?
Probably within a week. Yeah, we've ordered some electrical components. Again, there's not a lot of stuff we need to do. It was just, we've been waiting to kick this project off, but now that we know where we're at, we're going to take some other measures, and I can keep you posted on that personally, but I would assume within a week we can have it going.
Before Memorial?
Yeah.
Okay. Alderman, Rutherford.
Question. Gina, does this have to come before the board since the staff is recommending that we do not accept bids? Is that not a board action?
No, that can be my action on
Not
the words I'm like, yeah, to deny. If the staff it's over budget and over, you can double check your policy, make sure I'm interpreting it correctly. I can see that look and I don't have it, but yes, it has, with the new policy, that wasn't an authority that was passed on to.
I might have to change it then.
Well, you can always change your own rules, absolutely.
All right.
I'll back her up on that. I actually looked it up.
Yeah, I'll be working on changing it. I just think
No,
that, I think
they're
to keep,
your ordinances.
I think to keep things all above board and to take that, any shadow that could be put on staff, that would be an action that the board should take action on, again, just to protect the staff. That's where I'm looking at.
Now, let me add that while you're gonna work on a new ordinance. If there is no legally binding reason to deny or reject bids, then absolutely it has to go before the board. But, lowest and best bid, or it's over budget or overestimate, there's kind of a perimeter I look for. Now, I've not had that situation, but if, us wanting to reject a bid that wouldn't fall squarely in the box of legalities, that would be a decision for the board. Because there's certain parameters that we can reject, so
I'll look at it. Again, my thought is not because I'm concerned about staff doing anything inappropriate, it's more to protect staff.
So I'll see you next week then.
Yeah.
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, Alderman.
So you said you only had one bid come in and it was very high, correct? And you want to push this down, are you thinking that you're going to be able to find more companies, get more bids, or do you think that we're going to be really hamstrung on who we've got as options?
Yeah, I think both. We're going to, Eric and I from Cochrane are going to push this and sell this. It's not a small job, but it is a medium job. So it flies under the radar at this point in time. Everyone's 3 to 4 months out. Most contractors they've already got their summer already on the board. The timing was bad. I think the contractor that did put the bid in knew the most about it, but honestly, he even said he didn't want to do it either not because of the risk, but it's just because he was busy. Most of it came down to timing. Because of the long drawn out easement approval process, put us where we didn't want to be here in spring. So we're going to, again, push this, sell this project to other contractors in Springfield, Jeff City, and so forth, and then put it in a place that is more cost advantage for us when it's off season.
Good, thank you.
Very good. All right, thank you, Kevin. All right, who's next? City Planner, Kerry Patterson?
Yes, Mayor. Kind of business as usual in the planning department. Ron's correct. We have a lot of permits and reviews coming in. Do have a planning commission meeting next Tuesday. The planning commission will hear a request by Topsider to amend their PUD. The week after that, we will be having our first Board of Zoning Adjustment meeting for the year. And for those of you who wonder, the fewer Board of Zoning Adjustment meetings we can have, the better. I mean, they are requesting variances, so that's definitely not something we want to see once every month. The fewer that we have, the better off that we're doing with our codes and what we're allowing and what we're requiring. Also working busily and diligently with the Oasis at Lakeport and their consultants for their traffic impact study and statement, along with 5 members of MoDOT. We've had about 3 hours worth of meetings, and they sent out a piece of information yesterday that I'm about halfway through reading that is basically the basis for the study. So I can assure you, as the board, that there is a lot of effort and a lot of professionalism and background being put into what is going to happen with the traffic for the Oasis. With one thing that I can also assure you from my perspective, and I talked about this with Alderman Morose, is for 12 years, we've been trying to figure out ways to get more traffic onto Osage Beach Parkway. And that is one of my focuses on this, because every car that comes out of there currently will have to go to the Parkway. Whether they turn left or right, they're going to the Parkway. And the one thing that I did tell them was that I believe it's in the city's best interest if we try to keep them going to the Parkway. Not to the point where it will cause traffic issues, but I think our business owners on the west side of the Parkway would very much appreciate having those vehicles go in front of their businesses when they leave that location. This is one way that we can do it, and I am certainly on top of that, and hopefully having our businesses catch that escape traffic from that project is something that will be a great benefit to them. Other than that, I don't have anything further, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Eric Howell with Cochran, do you have anything? All right, did you have a question, Alderman Hoffman?
No, I didn't, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just got caught in the middle.
All right, Alderman Rucker.
Yes, I have a question in reference to the most recent election. When we voted the marijuana tax in, we've not had a tax increase or doing anything the whole time I've been on the board. I have dealt with them in my prior career in the fire service, and so that's why I'm reverting back to that. There has been no board action that you've requested. Should we not do an ordinance to acknowledge that we are doing this tax? I realize we've accepted the election, but shouldn't we do an ordinance on that?
Kevin, you are correct. We have most likely correct. I'll let Cole dive in the details, but unless it's required to, it might not be a bad idea, because even our CIT tax refers to the ballot and when it started and what it's used for. We talk about all our other taxes, so that definitely kind of puts it in our books to be searchable. So that's similar to like what we did when we did the CIT tax back in the 80s. It was like, here was kind of the ballot, here's what it said, and it put it in our tax section.
I'll need to do a little research to give you a more thoughtful answer. My gut tells me that the ordinance would be the one approving putting it on the ballot, and that we did certify it to the Department of Revenue within the 10 days that we're required to. Tara and I made sure of that. So I believe that the ordinance we my gut tells me that the ordinance we adopted putting it on the ballot plus the ballot
From a legal standpoint.
gets us there, but
it wouldn't hurt.
But operationally,
Yes.
I think
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying, are we safe? My gut tells me yes, but I would like to do a little research to
make sure.
to double check.
I think we need to do it from the operation, but if there's anything we need to have in there from the legal standpoint while we're doing it. But I think it's something I would feel more comfortable that we did.
I understand.
That's all. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman Schuman.
Yes, I was just going to mention again about the food truck event. Sorry, my brain shut off. It was a very good event. I looked around. We were there for about 3 hours, hit about 4 or 5 different trucks, a couple different vendors. Had to drag the kids out of the bounce house. But it was really good, and thank you to everybody in the city that helped. I saw Mitchell and Eric both changing out the trash cans. They were never overflowing. It was never like littered around. It was a very clean event, which was kind of nice to have people around. And then just a reminder, our seasons kind of are starting to kick off a little sooner this year. So there's Magic Dragon in Lake Ozark this weekend, and there's also the first Harbor Hop of the season. So lots of fun stuff going on. And even though it's going to be a little bit rainy, it'll also be very warm. So everybody enjoy.
Thank you very much. Alderman Hoffman.
I just want to say really good work on the food truck event. I heard nothing but good things, other than some people were still hungry because they ran out of food. But really well done. I think that we should use that as a model moving forward for October, and it's in October, right? The next September, and it's probably going to be even busier, would be my guess. And maybe we need to. Do we only get them from the coalition? I mean, could we open that up to more food trucks, or is that not how it works?
Yes, we were partnering with the Food Truckers Coalition for this event. They're the ones who brought in their food trucks. But I do know there are other food trucks in the coalition that were not present at this event. So if your question is there room for growth? Absolutely.
Okay.
And Eric and I have the mentality to make it bigger and better in September.
Excellent. Like maybe bring in some bands and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, but well done. That's all I have.
Thank you. Alderman Osteen.
I've got a few items this evening. Once again, jumping on the back wagon regarding the Food Truck Festival. Wanted to commend our Parks and Rec staff. It was a fantastic event. There have been a lot of questions about expanding on the event, but keep in mind this was a first-time event for us, and I think a lot of the potential vendors wanted to wait and see how a first-time event ran before they wanted to sign up for a second. So I think, hands down, it'll be double the size as far as the number of vendors we'll have for the September event. I had minimal complaints. I was there for quite a while. 3 of them, basically, one, we can't control the length of time it took to get food. The other 2 are easy to control. More trash cans, more tables and chairs. Definitely more seating. But other than that, fantastic event. I look forward to, once again, seeing it really expand. My second item is to commend Tara for Municipal Clerks Week. I would like to commend her on her role in the daily operations for our city and for her role as my partner in crime on all of the conferences we attend on behalf of the city. I would also like to recognize our police department for the National Police Week. Make sure basically that you do pass it on to all members of our police force, that we are basically very much appreciative of them and will honor them during that week. My last item is regarding our department update list. Once again, I am ecstatic that we have adopted this per my recommendation, and this is not a conversation I think we should have right now, but I think we need to dial it down on expected completion dates. As it stands now, I think that a lot of the items on here, we know they're items that are going to take some time to revise or to adjust or to address, but I hate that basically more than half these items basically have an infinite end date. There's no really holding your feet to the fire on, we need some definitive answers by X date. Obviously, I think that's something we can accomplish outside of the board meeting and maybe through via emails with the board, kind of figuring out, let's get some rough ideas on, I don't want to say holding people's feet to the fire, but once again, expanding on this idea and once again, coming to quicker resolution and answers for things that we have outgoing or outstanding. So hopefully you're all in agreement with that. Other than that, that's all. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Osteen.
If those who had not heard, he got hitched last week.
Yes, thank you very much.
I actually know the people that he went and got married, actually that were his guests or his witnesses for the wedding, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's all I had.
Alderman Rose.
Not to steal any thunder, but also, Tara, thank you for all of your hard work, and we do appreciate having you here, as well as our police department, Chief Davis, all that you do.
Thank you.
And more than anything, I think, is our managers or staff, department heads or whatever, what I'm saying, as far as even like the park and recreation manager, Eric, and all of you that are always diligently doing what you're supposed to do and being very conscious for the city. I was very impressed with Eric of taking a guided tour of the park, and his enthusiasm is just really, really self-satisfying and overwhelming, I think. But anyway, it was very nice. And Kelly, you mentioned about the Magic Dragon car show this weekend. Harbor Hop is Saturday, of course. And, you know, in talking about that, being that I'm at the CVB office quite often, several days a week, it's amazing in the last few weeks, of course, the weather's been decent too, but some more visitors are coming in because I'm talking a lot more during the day rather than being on the phone, which is good. And Wisconsin has been twice now, people from Wisconsin coming in, and they're not going to Branson. They said, we heard about Lake of the Ozarks back when COVID was on. And I said, yes, we had a lot of national attention then because of the waterfront restaurants. Anyway, so it was very good. It was just nice to see them all. Other than that, I think we owe a huge gratitude to our Osage Beach Street Department for their marvelous painting job that they're doing on the parkway. Absolutely. It's so much better than one year when it was like waves up and down. But anyway, please extend how well that they're doing, because we do appreciate it.
Definitely will, thank you.
And other than that, I think that's it. The weather looks good this weekend for the car show and for Harbor Hop, so that's good. So come and see me at Kelly's Port. I'm going to be there.
Well, I
Dealing cards out there?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, doing the poker hand.
well, I was gonna say, I hope you send those Wisconsin people down the road to get some cheese.
Right. Well, yes, and furthermore, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Alderman Ross, please.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
You and Kim. And I would just echo all the recognition and especially the striping, because that has been a challenge over the past few years. And I did get a chance to visit with Rob today and told him they're doing a great job compared. And their partnership with the HH Road District, I think, is what really changed that whole process. So good for Rob for creating those kind of relationships and working together with other folks.
Yeah, correct. We're using a totally different machine. It's more suited for what we're trying to do. And may hear about that in the strategic planning session.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. I just have a few things, short things. First of all, thank you, everybody, for the staff, the Board of Aldermen, the kind words, the cards, the gift card. Had a great meal at Baxter, so thank you, Board. So really appreciate it. And everybody's talking about the food truck, but I have to too. It's just amazing what our staff did. I got a call from Tristan, who has blessed this burger months ago, and he was saying, hey, maybe looking for another place for food truck. And I said, we would love to have you here in Osage Beach. Let me hook you up with the guy. And so I passed him on to Mitchell and got Eric involved, and it all evolved from that. So excellent job out of both of us. Kim and I went there Saturday, and about 11:30, it was packed. And she got the catfish. You know, I don't do the seafood, but had pork rinds. And I told Eric, the only thing that people keep saying is if they could have a cold beer. And he said, that might happen in the fall. But great job. It was a great time. We went Sunday, drove through twice. I was thinking it was cold and windy. There's not going to be many people here. And it was still packed. So anyway, great job. It was a great event. I was able to this year, sorry, Mr. Alderman Ross, but I judged the Corvette Club.
I'm glad you were able to.
Yes, the Corvette show. I did that at Margaritaville. It was a great time. I picked a 1963 Corvette from our folks, friends down in Grand Lakes, Oklahoma. So had a good time there. The Water Safety Council, they're having their big, I don't know if their annual event in Camdenton, the 13th. And I don't know how a lot of people know about this, but it's their annual boating and water safety seminar. And I'm not on the Water Safety Commission, but I go to a few of their meetings now and then. But they have free admission. It's free for the kids. They're going to have food trucks on site. They're going to have safety boat displays, exhibitors. But it's going to be from 8 to 1 on the 13th at the Camden High School. So if you're not doing anything a week from Saturday, check that out. It's a neat event, and they'll be talking a lot of boater safety and all that sort of stuff. Carrie Patterson and I and Mike and Gina, we've been talking about the, if you remember when I ran, one of the big things I said, I want to know, welcome to Osage Beach sign coming into Osage Beach. So we had a nice meeting with Lamar, and Carrie's done a great job, and Mike, we have a spot located coming in from Camdenton on the right, just before Harley in that general area, and Lamar's been very helpful. So that project is moving forward once we get it. It's some neat stuff, and it looks like we're looking for a 10 by 21 digital sign with, on the outside, a welcome to Osage Beach, the heart of Lake of the Ozarks, but in the middle, a 10 by 21 digital sign so we can change it. Barbecue, whatever, you know, if you need to do Amber Alerts, that sort of thing. So look forward to that. My biggest thing is I want it tomorrow. And
You wanted it yesterday, really.
yeah, and every day I'm like, what do we do now? We got to put a bid out.
Why'd you give in to tomorrow?
I know. So, but we're moving forward on that, and so thanks to everybody there. I don't know how many people there are still listening, but the road construction on the bridge right now, I cannot stress enough, Zipper. You guys have heard Zipper. For those that don't know, and a lot of times when you come into merge construction ahead, a lot of people think they're doing the right thing by immediately getting in the left lane. So you've got 2 miles of everybody in the left lane, rather than what should be everybody proceeds to the front and you just take your time and weave in and out. It's that simple. 2 lanes go a lot quicker than 1 long lane, because then all of a sudden here comes this one person, and everybody's mad because they're running to the front of the line.
And they're doing what they're supposed to.
Right. So
That was me every time this week.
yes. So be nice. I saw so many people going down that were mad and cutting people off. And, you know, this is something, and I talked to Alderman Ross about this the other day. I mean, it's something that needs done on the bridge. First thing I had said, well, why aren't they doing this at night? Well, it needs to be certain humidity level, certain temperature, that it has to cure. So it is what it is, but if you can utilize the zipper merging, go all the way to the front and just be nice. All right?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question on
Yes,
that. Do we have signage up that says don't merge or something like that? Are people just not paying attention to it, or
Call MoDOT.
it does?
First of all, it's not our roadway to fix, or therefore it's not our responsibility to put up the signage.
I know, but I'm wondering if it's out there, like if it's, okay.
Apparently, MoDOT didn't have it in the bid package or sign package for the zipper merge signs.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So anyway, and the last thing I have is I was just looking at my calendar because Mother's Day is going to be here before the next Board of Aldermen meetings. It is. So happy Mother's Day to my mom and all the other mothers out there. All right.
I second that.
All right, with that being said, notice is now given that the agenda includes a roll call vote to close the meeting as allowed by RSMO Section 610.021. Legal actions, cause of action, or litigation involving a public governmental body and any confidential or privileged communication between the government body or its representatives and its attorneys. So do I have a motion to move into closed session?
Motion.
Alderman Ross, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call, please.
Alderman Rose?
Yes.
Alderman Ross? Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
No, that was actually